Our first guest this week is Mr. Brian Altounian. He's the founder of Atlas Voyager Wealth Maximization Strategies. Brian, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Don. Great to be here. Excited to be starting off a new year.
Well, I think for employers and businesses, the three most important initials this year are ERC. Wouldn't you agree?
I would absolutely agree. Yes, for sure. Especially folks who kept their employees on board during the pandemic and the government mandates. Those had a huge impact on everything across the board, and so the ERC program is amazing to be able to recoup some of those payroll tax benefits that they had paid in during that time frame.
Well, give us an idea about how it works.
That's great. So for the year 2021, if employers kept their employees on, employers always file a quarterly 941 payroll tax report. So for the year 2021, they can actually recover. They amend their 941s. They can recover up to $5,000 per employee for that year. And in 2020, it was $5,000. 2021, $7,000 a quarter for 3 quarters per employee. So they can actually submit amended 941 forms with following all of the rules, and they get back up to about $26,000 per employee in a payroll tax rebate. It's not a loan. It's money that was paid to the government. The government is giving it back. It was submitted originally to folks at the same time that PPP and EIDL loans were offered during the pandemic, but those were short-term. People could get those turned around in a very short period of time. So most folks went after the PPP and EIDL loans, but some cases were forgiven, but most of the time they had to pay those back. So they didn't submit their ERC qualifications because it took longer to get them back and a little bit of work. Most employers didn't want to go through the work. Most accountants told employers, oh, you don't qualify because, we stayed open or our business grew. And that's completely false. The reality is anybody whose operations were impacted by the mandates, they'll qualify. So folks who had to have their clients separated by 6 feet or had to change hours, have some people work from home. They couldn't go out to see clients, out remotely. They had supply chain issues. Any operational impact that was created by the mandates qualifies a company to file for the ERC credit.
So it doesn't really matter what kind of business you're in so long as you're impacted by the pandemic.
And the reality is, Don, I think every business was impacted by the pandemic. I have clients who qualified for the ERC rebate where their business actually grew during the pandemic. They actually kept people on. So I always say, this is a great thing. Most of the time you'll get a government program that helps people who are struggling or in trouble, and maybe they can't make payments or they're not staying up to date. And then for all those folks and all those companies that are like, well, hey, we kept things going. We didn't have an issue with payments. How come we don't get a benefit? This is the first program I've ever seen where they say, you know what, you kept people on board, even with all the mandates, we're going to have you qualify for this as well. So it's really an amazing program. And the company that I work with, they do all of the work. And so Don, we've set this up. So for your viewers, there's a link, a MoneyTV link, where people can go, click on the link. They can submit how many employees they had. Now, it works for companies with between 5 and 500 employees. How many employees they had, and a good time to have a conversation. And one of our people will set up a 15-minute consultation. There's no expense, there's no fee to work with the ERC program. What they do is they charge a success fee at the end. They will be able to tell, based on where you are, based on what your filings are showing, we think we can help you recover this amount of money. They do all of the work. They do the amendments of the 941s. They file with the IRS. They make sure that the money gets collected. So they track down payments, and they stay around for 5 years in case there's an audit on the ERC program. So they guarantee their work for no money up front. So it's truly found money. When the company gets paid back, they then submit an invoice to the company, and the company pays them a success fee. So it's a no risk, no fee situation. Every company should be applying for this.
And does it matter if the company took PPP or EIDL money?
It has a little bit of an impact on that total $26,000, but again, it's minor. It's a minor impact. In essence, the answer is no. It may adjust the amount of money they get back per employee. But I will tell you this Friday, I've got a client, 240 employees. Even if it's been adjusted slightly for PPP, it's possible that they're going to get back about maybe $5 million, and that's not unusual. That companies are recovering substantial amounts of money. I have one client that just got paid their first $150,000 rebate, just got their first payments back from the government, and it goes back into their pockets, into their bank accounts.
How long does the process take, Brian?
It takes the filing takes about 3 weeks to a month, depending on how quickly the company can turn around their original filings. That gathering of docs takes a couple of weeks, but then it'll take a few months for the government to review and acknowledge and then send payments out. So it's probably about 4 months total. But again, they'll know ahead of time, Don, how much money is coming their way. So it's worth it. Again, found money, as I like to say.
So you keep the company in progress and updated all along the way?
Absolutely. They'll know exactly where they are in the process the entire way.
Once again, Brian Altounian, Atlas Voyager Wealth Maximization Strategies. Brian, fantastic program. Glad you could be part of it. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Don. Great to see you. Happy New Year, everybody.